So I just got a call from one of the neighbors. One of the sheep is out, or maybe all the sheep are out. We're going to find out right now. Come on, sheep, let's go. Our sheep eat 99.9% grass and weeds and tree fodder, but I figured out early on that if I have about a quarter bucket of food, they will follow me anywhere. And so we got non-GMO, supposed to be good feed, but I still don't like feeding them a lot of it. They absolutely love it. They'll follow me for 2 miles if I've got a bucket. Isn't it funny how sheep are just like people? There's the early birds and the cow's tails, and that's just who they are. The same ones every time. Well, there's all this new grass growth, new weeds. Of course, it didn't rain for a month, but this field hasn't been touched for probably 5 weeks. And so there's a lot of grass in here. And that's the reason that the two were out. They're hungry because all the grass was gone in that paddock. And so they'll eat their little quarter bucket of feed, and then they'll start grazing. Abby Grace, my daughter, is filming. She's a wonderful videographer. What questions do you have just looking?
How did you know they would just follow you like that?
Doing this for, what have I been doing this, 2 years now, 3 years? You just learn the nature of the animal. The only time they won't follow you is when they're teenagers, and if they're rams. They will literally be like, yeah, I'm not going over there.
Just like humans?
Just like humans. Sheep are so much like humans. I understand now why the Bible was written like it was, because humans are just like this. There's always a boisterous one, there's always a shy one, always the head of the class, always lagging behind. There's the full spectrum of human behavior right there in that flock. Isn't that nuts? I used to try to push them, Abby. I'd get behind them and kind of do this. It would have took me an hour to get them here. I was trying to be a purist and not feed them any sheep food at all. I just wanted them to eat nothing but this. I don't know if they put sorghum in it or what, but they would have followed me to town and back. They just love this food.
The one with all the hair, is that the dude?
Yeah, that's the ram. Look at him. He's badass, isn't he? There's actually about 5 right now because I got some young rams that I'm gonna have to send to market. Remember this little pig went to market, this little pig stayed home. You know the pig wasn't going to the market to go shopping, right?
I just don't think about it. I just eat the bacon.
That's good. I don't know how old I was, but I was like, I thought the pig was going shopping. So I got to go back and get dog. This morning our guardian dog got out for some reason. I don't know if he was chasing a coyote or if there's a local dog in heat. I tied him to the barn for a little punishment. Maybe he'll learn his lesson. I got to go back down and get him. Let's go get that dog.
How long will they stay in each paddock?
So since it hasn't rained in a month, the grass is terrible. I would usually leave them there 3 or 4 days, but I'll probably leave them there 1 or 2 days. And then we'll go back onto the main farm. But if we get some more rain and the grass flushes again, I can leave them 3 or 4 days on each one of the paddocks. But right now there's not nearly enough grass. They'll get hungry. And what do they do when they get hungry? They jump the fence. That's right. And that's not their fault. That's my fault because I misjudged. They were here about 3 weeks ago. So after this paddock, I'll move them back onto the main farm and rotate them back through around there. Hopefully it'll rain again. Y'all keep praying for rain, please. It worked. We got like 1.5 inches in 2 hours.
Would you ever have cows?
Yeah, so the reason we don't have cows is because Isha's grandfather, who's a wonderful man, he's in heaven right now, farmed this the traditional way. Every year he plowed everything, disked it up, killed all the soil microbes, all the fungal networks, killed everything. He didn't know better. Then he'd put a bunch of fertilizer on it and plant something, and it would grow good, but you have to do that every year. It winds up taking hours of labor and thousands of dollars every year for the fertilizer and the lime. Also, what it gets you is a farm with dirt about this deep. So what I'm doing is rotating them. They're stimulating the grass to grow. They're peeing and pooping everywhere. That's going to build the soil. Also, if I have old hay, I unroll it. You can see a bale right back in there. But it's going to take 3 or 4 years, and then we'll have soil that's this deep. So if it don't rain for a month, it really won't matter.
Yeah. Did you chat GPT that?
I did the old-fashioned chat GPT where I read about 40 books. All right, turn this Energizer off. Come on, baby.
Dog and not like burn up from how much hair he has and it's been so hot.
I've been told by multiple people not to trim his hair because he's a Great Pyrenees, and somehow, I don't know, it does something bad. But I've been told that it's super unhealthy. Not shave him, but like maybe he's got 2 inches of hair to protect his skin from the sun, but yet so he's cooler. There we go. Now the fence is hot. I just got to tighten it up, make it a little tighter in a few places, and move the water, and then they are in their new paddock for probably 2 days. Any other questions? you've thought of. Please ask me questions in the comments. Also, if you're a seasoned farmer and you actually know what the hell you're doing, unlike me, please give me suggestions in the comments, because I'm still learning. My learning curve is straight up.
How many ticks do you pull off you daily?
Well, I usually try to take a shower as soon as I get in the house, and there's 3 or 4, but they're not attached. They put their minerals out.
How many sheep do you think you have? Like, you know how many?
It's about 60 right now, and about 4 or 5 of them are still pregnant right now, so we'll have some more before the year's over.
How long do they live?
Oh, they'll live 10 years or longer probably, but we usually send them to market when they're 4 or 5. So they get to live way longer than a sheep that's just raised for meat in like a corporation setting. They're going to live 2 years tops. They get to live a lot longer. They get to have babies. They get to eat lots of grass.
Well, how often do you eat lamb chops?
At least once a week. And lamb chops really turns a lot of people off because they're like, I don't want to eat a baby lamb. Lamb chops come from a sheep that is a year old, 8 months, a year old. It's not a tiny lamb. I don't know why they named it lamb chops, because that's completely inaccurate. But you can eat chops from a ram in this flock that's 4 years old. Delicious. But if it's wool sheep, then you got to eat them younger or they're just too gamey, especially the rams. But hair sheep are not like that. Their meat stays wonderful no matter how old they are.
So what breed is it that you don't have to like shear them?
These are St. Croix and Katahdin and a little bit of Barbados. And those are hair sheep, not wool sheep. So I never have to shear them. I don't have to cut their tails off, because you have to do that with wool sheep too, or they'll get flies, strike where the flies lay maggots around their butt. If you don't shear them, they'll die. Very unhealthy for them. This is how sheep were 20,000 years ago. We bred them to grow wool like that. Now there were some wild breeds that were a little more woolly, but we took those breeds and just kept crossbreeding them until we had the wool monsters we have today. But there's no sheep in the wild that ever had this much wool that had to be sheared every year. That's a man-made creation.
I feel like they're much happier this way.
100%. They will get a very thick coat in the winter, but then they shed it off just like a dog does in the spring. So somebody's in heat, so they're trying to make sweet ram love to them. Once you get to know them, and I don't mean know them like a person, but know how sheep think and how they behave. They're so predictable. I could feel it in my heart. It was time to move. Isn't that crazy? Like, I've been doing this for 3 cycles now, 3 trips around the sun. I wanted to wait till you were here to film, but we almost waited too long. Those sheep, they are uncomfortable when they're away from the herd. So even though they were eating grass, they were right there by the fence. That's part of their nature, that once you know that, you can utilize that to get them to go where you want to go. If sheep's ever sick or in labor, they lose their herd instinct. If you ever see a sheep off by herself, that's not good. 100% something's wrong. Either she's been attacked and injured, or she's in labor, or she's sick. There's something bad wrong. Anytime you see a ewe, especially off by herself, and even rams for that matter, they just don't go off by themselves. If you see that, you know immediately something's wrong.